My mom got her first Brazilian wax. It only took 50 years, but she finally got it.
I mean, my whole body was shaking. My hands were so wet.
Barb
Try it.
said, put the pussy first. Rawr. How's your cuckoo today?
Oh,
Hit the line, what's the tea? They talk about everything. Rolls on, I'm calling my mom. Paul is here, Barb too, and they talk about everything. Rolls on, I'm calling my mom.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us and listening to another episode of the Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom podcast. I'm Paul, and this is my superstar mother, Barb.
hi, y'all.
So I'm back from my little mental health break for a week. We went a little incognito this past week, even though I have a sty on my eye. I don't know how much of a mental health break that's been, but we're back. I said I was nervous about.
No, it looks much better.
I'm giving a little model for everybody. I'm gonna get.
Well, now everybody will know which one it is.
I mean, you can kind of tell my left eye is droopy as hell, and then the other right eye looks normal. So I have to call it out. Literally, I've been going up every time somebody's been seeing me. The first thing I've been doing is, I have a sty on my eye. It's not pink eye, I promise you. Because I went to the gym the other day and someone's like, yo, man, what's going on with your eye? I'm like, don't fucking ask me that.
Well,
Don't be
because
disrespectful.
people don't want you touching your eye and then touching shit, but there'll be a breakout of
no, I think
pink eye at the gym.
certain people just can't help themselves, I feel like. So
That's true also.
So respectfully, don't fucking say shit about my eye. I'm going to say it to you first. So I'll beat you to the punch. We have a brand new episode this week, and I'm excited about our guest today. We have therapist and friend to the podcast, Alexia McLeod.
Yay.
Alexia works with a lot of her clients on etiquette and boundaries. You know, she's previously been on season 1. So we thought we needed to have Alexia come back and join us on the podcast, especially with you, Barb, on your dating journey. She can help us navigate and maneuver what, etiquette and dating looks like in 2025, because girl, it's changed since last time you've been out there in what, 70s?
No, not the 70s, but
60s?
no, girl.
I'm kidding. But it's changed. The landscape is not the same. So
I'm sure it's totally different. I have questions. Don't worry. I have questions.
I got questions for you, even if you didn't even have the questions, because I want to know, because I'm like, someone enlighten me. What does that even look like? What is the respectable dinner courtesy? What is it like to be wined and dined? What is it like to be picked up on a date? We need to dissect this. So we will be having Alexia join us later in the episode, but we have so much to catch up on first before we even get into it. So we got to get into that first.
Okay.
I'm not hitting you with a blind side. I want to talk about the post.
I don't want to talk about the post.
Yeah.
Why?
I think it's important.
Why?
I want to start this week with something real and not easy. Last week, I posted a clip about my dad, my family, my mom, my brother, myself. We were all involved about some things that we witnessed and experienced growing up. And it was my truth and something that I've held in for a long time. But when my mom saw it, it hit her really hard. She told me she felt kind of exposed. And I think that there was some shame and embarrassment that came with that. And I felt bad because I felt like maybe I shared too much about something that wasn't just mine. And that's what I want to talk to my mom about today. Essentially, the real question is, did I cross a line? Did I share something that wasn't mine to tell? Or is it possible that my mom and I both lived the same trauma and I just chose to talk about mine out loud? Did you feel like I betrayed you by posting that? And can we talk about why it felt that way?
No, I didn't feel like you betrayed me. That's definitely not the word that I would use. No, I felt, I know we all have our own stories. I felt that was a little more exposure of my story. The ending of that post was beautiful. Like the ending was beautiful. To get there, I felt was a little bit more personal, and my story, I probably should have had heads up of, hey, what do you think of this? This is what I'm posting. Even though I know it was for like a Father's Day kind of thing, but it took me it took me a lot by surprise.
I take accountability and not running the post by my mom first, because usually everything that we do is united and we're in it together and we know what we're putting out there. So I take full accountability for not running it by my mom first. I ultimately, when I did that, I was like, oh, wow, I'm really proud of the strides and the hurdles that my mom has overcome and we've overcome as a family. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that and showcase that. And I felt inclined in that moment to do it on Father's Day, because I felt like my mom has always played both roles in my life growing up. She played a dad and she played a mom. And I was like, wow, it's really relevant to what we're doing here. We're having these really important conversations and we're being transparent. We're putting ourselves out there. And I feel like we always kind of tiptoe around the subject matter of what that looks like to anybody who's listening, and we kind of never fully address it. And I was like, wow, this is a powerful moment, because my mom is in a point in her life where I feel like she can talk about it now, and maybe I misjudged and I went a little too far with posting that. I don't regret what I put out there. I regret not running it by you first, because at the end of the day, I feel like it's a sticky situation to live in a house of abuse, and then one, being able to say that word out loud. And then two, I feel like what I experience is what I endure as abuse is someone else's story, unfortunately. So as a child, it's like a fine line of like, how do you share your story without hurting or exposing somebody or putting their story out there when they're not ready to do that?
Yeah, no, I agree with, like, I agree with what you're saying, and I understood what you were saying. I just, yes, with a lot of that came like shame, embarrassment. We do try to be as honest as we can on this podcast. I don't go into specifics, and I guess the specifics of it was a little bit more over the line for me. I was embarrassed and ashamed of it, and then again, it just caught me off guard.
What did you feel embarrassed about?
Um, just the specifics of it.
Like what I said in the post?
Yeah, like there was specific things, like examples.
I've always wanted to have a platform where I could share my story. I felt like I lived so much of living, keeping people protected, keeping secrets in my life and in my family, because it was like, oh, I don't want this to look bad and be reflective of my dad, who's a parent who mistreated people in my family or made our lives very hostile and toxic. And we would have to go to school and pretend things didn't happen. And I was like, I'm breaking that personally for me, that cycle, because I don't want to move in my life like that. I want to be able to confront things and say, I'm not protecting people who don't need to be protected for bad behavior. I'm not going to enable bad behavior. I'm like, why am I living with this baggage or this heaviness of having to tiptoe around somebody else who's not showing up for me, not present, not considerate of our feelings or how we felt as a family, that these things still weigh very heavily on us, that we're still talking about it all these years later. And I'm like, here I am not being able to fully share my story because it's still going to impact somebody. So I'm like, how do I tiptoe around a fine line of being honest with how I feel and putting it out there that it can resonate with people? Because I always felt like I wanted to grow up and be able to tell my story, that there was some other person or kid or somebody who was like, wow, this person went through it, I can go through it, because it wasn't fair to me. It wasn't fair to anybody who had to endure it. So I feel like the specifics are hard, but they're truthful. And I felt like the biggest part of it was, if I'm watching this from a TV perspective of how much I love television, I get enamored and so captivated by the people and their stories, because they're living authentically and they're telling us the good, bad, the ugly, and we're along for the ride. And I took myself out of this and I thought, wow, if I'm putting myself out there and I'm not showing up authentically, then I'm not doing my job as creating a platform that I want it to be a safe space for people to connect and things to resonate with. And I'm not going to leave certain parts out because they're too bad, because I'm like, well, that's life. Life is bad. And I was thinking, wow, how beautiful of it that the thing that you were the most uncomfortable or upset with was actually the thing that registered the most with people. I felt like it was the most well-received post we ever had. I felt like the words that people even came up to me in LA that I know and were saying how beautiful it was, and they cried. And I was like, wow, it's a very powerful story. And I felt inclined to share that. And I think the most difficult thing was navigating how much of it I was putting out about you, because it's part of my life, and how much it was my story.
Yeah, I think that's where the fine line comes, is I know we all have our stories, but where does that fine line come of your story crossing into my story? And if I'm not ready to be specific about it, I mean, I've come a long way, but it's a very hard thing to maneuver because we all have our stories. So the fine line of when does it become your story that then filtered into my story, and am I ready for that specific things to come out regarding myself versus you?
Yeah, I don't know if there is a right answer of what that looks like.
Me neither.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't think there is a right answer, to be honest. I think if you
Mm.
feel that way and that's how you truly feel, I think it should be, I view it as liberating. I was like, wow, we can find, like, we're here. We've said it. We've come such a long way. And I felt like,
And I
how,
did not. Yeah.
no, you didn't feel that way.
No.
And then I had to step back and think, oh my gosh, did survivor shame step, did abuse shame it step, like someone who's been abused, someone who survived abuse or has gone through it, did shame sink in, talking it out loud? Did the bigger conversation hit where it now made you internalize it? And we never really have used the words abuse and we just kind of always tiptoe around it. And I thought, wow, like saying that, did this hit different because of the verbiage that we used in this conversation? Did it resonate because it was the truth finally?
I think it was the verbiage, and I think, again, it was the specifics. You know, it might have liberated you and embarrassed me, so it probably would have been a better thing to have a conversation like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm putting. How do you feel, mom?"
So even if it's something I lived through, was it still too much to share? Was I wrong?
I can't say that you were wrong because, again, the end post was very tearful, very beautiful. The beginning to get there was just a little too
I
much for me. Yeah, I
I
can't say that
no,
you were wrong.
but that's the thing.
Like, I don't know.
But
I
what
don't
you
know if
just
that's the terms to say.
but you just saying that to me, I'm like, yeah, it was too much to get there. That's our story. It was horrible to live through it, and we got out of it, and that's the current client. That's what is present. That's what's realistically happening. So it's like, yeah, it was terrible. Like that. It's not a pretty story, but like, can you curate a fake story to make it pretty? Then I'm like, then what's the point of it? It's not a
Yeah,
pretty story.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
So it's almost kind of like where I'm tiptoeing around is like, is she in denial? Does she not think it's as bad as I did? Did she think it's too much for people to consume and know that? Like
No, I think as a mom and just as a person, you take on an embarrassment, a guilt, a shame. That's just what you carry around. And as you know, even as a mom, that just is like, oh, that's what I put my kids through.
so
That's what I so there it's a lot more than just one aspect of it as a person. It's, a person, a mother, a wife, a woman.
you feel embarrassed being a mom that has been abused, that you feel guilty for putting your kids through that.
Of course.
But that's one of the main reasons.
I mean, yes, the embarrassment was like different levels. It was embarrassment of I don't want people to know specifics about me and what about my life, about my marriage, about being a mom, about what I put my kids through. Yeah, it's like all different levels of it.
And do you find any ounce of liberation sharing that? Or you still feel shame around it? Like to you, that doesn't feel empowering at all.
No.
Nothing about it. Your story feels empowering.
Again, the end of it was beautiful that you wrote that about me, like how you see me and how you put me on such a pedestal and see where I like see me grow and you're my child. You know what I mean? So that's liberating. It feels good, but it's also again, that's like, wow, like that's he saw me so here as a mom.
Yeah, but my deep feeling was that I always knew you could be this person who was on a platform, whether it's a small following, big following, talking your truth, saying it out loud, and taking ownership of your narrative. You're not letting anybody. Well, that's why I felt upset, because I was like, oh, did I control her narrative? And that was the whole thing, that she's endured with somebody else. But I view it as, I think you view yourself as so small and you're so much bigger than that. And I feel like I've been trying to like push you out of that to see like what I have always seen.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Again, I think it was just I don't need people to know the specifics about it, as in friends, family, coworkers, acquaintance, anybody. I've come so far and, have been out of my box, but I guess I wasn't ready for that part.
Yeah, and I understood that, and sometimes I feel like I forget. I've talked to one of my friends about this and somebody that I've known for a very long time, and they said that I'm the pusher of my family. I push people because I feel like if I feel like somebody's here and I know that they can go here, I want to push them to get to where I know that they're capable of doing it. And I think sometimes I might forget that, like,
We all maneuver these things in different ways.
I think I might forget that something small to me feels maybe bigger to somebody else. I think I always feel like torn and it's like a double-edged sword because I feel like if I don't want to push somebody to do something that makes them feel uncomfortable, but then I also don't, when do we get to that point? Like, if it was up to you to tell your story, would we ever even get your story if I didn't challenge you or try to support you in doing that? Would you ever be able to publicly come out and say, this is my story? I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like I did. I just don't feel like I need to be specific about it. Like, this is my story, ABC, but you don't need to know all the specifics about it because it's not going to change anything. It's still going to be my story, and this is what I endured.
What were the specifics?
Yeah, the specifics were at the beginning of it.
That I said that I watched you get abused?
Yeah, and the see you next Tuesdays in the hotels and stuff like that. That was specifics.
I'm like, is it your shame that's not allowing you to want to say,
Maybe.
like, I feel like it's given generational, like, this is the old you that I see stepping in, where you're doing what I feel like I've witnessed as a kid, where we don't talk about what's in our house. It's private. Whatever happens stays in our house. And I know that you have grown a lot, but I think what's making me upset is you're retreating back to that person with this specific situation.
Maybe, but then I guess that just shows that I've come so far, but there are certain things that I'm still gonna keep a hold of for now.
Well, of course, and I'm going to support you and respect you, but as your son, I feel like I need you to also hear me and understand where I'm coming from.
I did,
no, but I still see I still see an unhealthy pattern that you're tapping back into, because it's like this specific subject you
unhealthy, or if it's just guarded, and I don't know if it's unhealthy. I think it's more protective of myself and guarded.
Were you protecting you, or are you protecting him?
Me.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
There's not 1 ounce of you that feels like you're protecting him still?
I don't know, maybe a little. Maybe a little.
You are.
Maybe a little.
And why?
I don't know.
So even after all this time, you still feel deep down inside a loyalty still to not out somebody for their bad behavior?
Probably. Yeah. I'll always carry it around with me. Whether I talk about it, I don't talk about it, it'll always be inside of me. It'll always be a part of me. Whether I release it, I don't, it'll always be a part of me.
I know, and I hate that because I then go back.
But that's my story. That's my story.
I know, but I hate it because I feel like you didn't have the same kind of parent that I have in you to talk about these things. And you were conditioned to not be able to talk about those things in your own home, and things that you saw in your own home that were abusive behavior. You did not speak about it because you weren't allowed to. And it was about keeping everybody protected and not speaking about things. You had to watch everything, anything that happened. And then I popped out and I'm your kid and I'm the polar opposite of that. And I challenge everything that I feel like is not right, the good, the bad, everything. And I feel like I feel badly because I still see the little version of you that's afraid to talk about these things because you've been conditioned to say, my mom and dad wouldn't want me to talk about this.
Well, it's also a very personal thing. Who I want to talk to it about and let know is up to me.
Yeah, and these people who tune in every week to us because they seriously, this is like this family of people that I consider that show up every week and listen to us and care for us and show us love is like an amazing feeling. And I'm like,
Yeah, I agree.
these are our people that we are carving out, that they're tuning in and listening and they care, I like to believe, about our story.
Of course, of course.
And I want to give them the truth because I feel like, we talk about little innuendos or subtle shade. And I'm like, no, I want to step into it and be completely honest and tell them, this is my story. That to me, when you say it was too detailed, I'm like, that was the PG version, if I'm being honest. So I thought I was doing a respectful handling of that while being truthful. You disagree. You think that was like, and I couldn't, the consistency of, we talk about Big Blue, we talk about masturbation, we talk about this, but it was like, that was too detailed. And I'm like, but that's the facts. That's what happened.
I understand. Yeah.
Are you all right?
Yeah. No, I understand. I just, again, whose story was that?
I think it's all of our stories. And I think we have to be fair of respecting how people feel. And I think we should, moving forward, allow them to be in the know about it because we are a duo. We're a united front together. I want to tell our story of why we're so close and what we've gone through together, because as much as it is your story, I feel like it has impacted me tremendously my whole life. And it still does to this day, clearly. And I felt like I had the right to share my story that unfortunately involved my family because we were in it together. And I thought, my mom's come so far. I'm so proud of her. My mom would never be on a podcast talking about any of this stuff 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And I felt like, wow, we've come far. This is a moment of tell this story. And it does have a happy ending because my mom is living a happy life. She's content. She's confident. She's getting her groove back. She's outward. She's ways that I've never seen her before. And that to me is empowering.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I have to acknowledge the bad to get to the good that you worked hard to get to. So I felt like in that moment, I'm going to celebrate my mom. And this is the moment to do it.
Well, I just want you to know, I did love the heartfelt and the end behind it. Do you know what I mean? I knew where your heart was behind that. And I do appreciate everybody who commented on it and everything. It was very wonderful, beautiful feedback. So I do appreciate all of that. But it upsets me. I treasure being a mother.
Yeah.
So knowing that I fucked up my kids because of whatever is inside of me and wanted to help and think it'll get change and get better and all those things in my head.
But that's the beautiful part of you, is that you
Yeah.
love so hard and unconditionally.
Yeah.
I don't want you living with that. And I don't want you to make yourself so small because you work so hard to be big. Not too big because she's on Ozempic, but but small in the sense of you've come so far to let yourself go back down that unhealthy thought process. And there shouldn't be any shame. You're not a bad mom. Anybody who knows, what fucking mom is on a podcast with her kid talking about this shit if she was a bad mom? Who would electively choose to do this? That I love you and I would never do anything to want to break your trust. And I apologize for not running that by you, but my intentions were pure and it was to support you and always being a ride or die in your corner of highlighting you in the way that I see you. And that to me was a highlight. It was a powerful woman who didn't let some fuck ass guy take her down. And she's like, bitch, I'm bad and I'm getting better with age and I'm in my own. I love this version of you because this is who you are.
No, I love this version of myself too. I just want everybody to know I love where I am now. I'm such at peace with myself. Just all around. I feel a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I don't carry the world on it. I have a life. I enjoy my life.
I love seeing you enjoy your life. So I love you.
I love you too. And on that note,
well, now that's out, that's been weighing heavy on me. So I had to talk about that. And we haven't had a chance to, we did talk about it, but I was like, I felt like we were both caught up and we needed a moment to really like dive into that. And I'm like, that's why we created this podcast. We're going to save it for here and we're going to talk it out and we're going to give each other the time and space to do it. Well, I know that we took a week off, and I want to let everybody know why. I did not mean to do that abruptly. I literally, speaking of guilt, I felt very guilty and bad that I was not able to provide a full episode to everyone who's listening. I love giving this to you, and I love creating. I'm laughing because the irony is that we went to Jordan, my boyfriend's family's house, to celebrate Father's Day. And I just literally went to my physical therapist, and he was asking like what I did this past week. And I'm like, you know, my humor. I'm like, oh, we went to my boyfriend's, you know, parents' house to celebrate Father's Day. Like, at least one of us has a good dad. And he was like, oh man, like it got like real serious. And I was like, and I'm like, I don't have the energy to like go like dissect. I just was gonna let it go. But I was like, oh, I don't like I'm making fun of it. Like I'm laughing at it. So
Yeah.
I was like, my joke didn't hit the way that I was hoping that it would. So it just felt bad that he actually probably felt bad for me. So but what makes me feel bad is the fucking airport. I hate the airport.
Yeah.
Stresses
It's a
me
lot.
out.
Stresses me out.
I hate packing for the airport. I hate getting to the airport. I hate being around all those people at the airport. I hate the disrespect at the airport from other people. I got beef with the priest who walked by me at the airport and saw that there was an empty seat next to me, and he looked at the seat and then looked at me and then kept it moving because I'm like, he saw my gay ass sitting there and was like, I can't be caught next to this gay boy over here, so I'm gonna keep it moving. So I was just like, I can't.
Shout out to the priest.
No, keep it moving. Bye, priest. But I do have a plane hack for you that I'm proud of.
Oh, what?
We take Southwest from Burbank to Las Vegas.
Right.
And, you know, with Southwest, you have to like get in line in your number and like get in, you know, it's like you don't get a
weird. Yeah, it's very weird.
It's different, but you don't get a designated
seat. Yeah, it's a free
for all. I don't love it sometimes because it can be stressful, but I like it for this instance. So me and Jordan got on, and I was like, the hack is if you don't ever want someone to sit next to you on the flight, pretend like you and your significant other are fighting, because that's what Jordan did. Yeah, we like, you know, people are start to come into the plane, come onto the plane, and you know, we're in, you know, in a row of 3 seats. I don't need to be all up on him. I'm like, I would like space in between us. And it wasn't a full flight. So there was like a couple people that were like dwindling, you know, that they must have got on a little bit later and they're getting on the flight and they're starting to come back. And Jordan's like this to me, like mouthing it. And I'm like, and we're just like going back and forth with each other. And they didn't sit next to us. They sat next to the people across the aisle from us instead of us. And they looked at us. And I was like, oh my gosh, pretend fighting actually pays off. So
maybe they were like the priest and didn't want to sit next to you.
Probably. I was like, maybe they saw 2 gay guys. And they're like, not just 1, 2 gay guys now. We're out.
And I'm not sitting in between them.
No, absolutely not. They would dare never sit next to us and be seen with us. But I want to get into my hold the fuck up moment of the week, because I know I called you as soon as this happened, but I need to talk this out on the podcast for everybody else to be into it. So let's get into my hold the fuck up moment for the week.
So let me tell you something.
If you jump out of your seat on the plane as soon as it lands, there's a certain place in hell for you. I don't care. I'm saying that with my chest. There's a certain place in hell for you.
I don't know where they think they're going, where everybody else is going. And then I'm like, they want to get all the way to the front. Then buy the ticket and be the first one out.
Exactly. Also,
don't sit and not buy your seat ticket. Then your ass is all the way in the back, and then you think
start
you're
pushing
walk
through
all the way and push it through, and then stand and hover over me while I'm in seat 13 or 10, and you just came from 28.
Period.
And then get all hostile when it takes a moment. It's like, well, because you got up as soon as we touched the tarmac.
Yeah, like the seatbelt sign just like clicked off.
Yeah, where do you think you're going?
We are all going to the same motherfucking place.
all
Like,
going out the same door.
This person who just like elbowed me to get by, guess what, bitch? I'm at the carousel with you right now trying to get my luggage too. Where the
Yes.
fuck were you going?
Yes. Yes.
I know I called you as soon as that happened. We had this guy hovering over Jordy. His package and shit is all in Jordy's face. I'm like, sir,
Yes.
back the fuck up.
I
Back up.
know.
Listen, I'll give grace to the people who have connecting flights. You got to get off. But what I have the issue with is that these motherfuckers who are so selfish, who get up, make it impossible for these people who need to get off to make their flight on time. I'm like, sit down. Sit down.
No, I like when they sit and they'll say, can you please allow these?
But they still don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care.
I know.
The flight attendants will get on and say, please make room for the people that have connecting flights. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit.
I don't understand it. It's the biggest pet peeve.
It drives me nuts.
I have. It's horrible. Horrible.
Drives me nuts.
Drives me nuts. Nuts.
Like, I hate the anxiety that comes when your row is finally there and that person is like here right next to you and they're like 2 rows back, but they've somehow managed to get through. And they're like, I'm like, no, I'll be petty.
Oh,
no,
I'll check them.
Me too.
I'll check them.
I'll check a bitch. I'll check a bitch. No, you're going to wait your turn. Well, so my question for you is there a certain place in hell for people who, no, I'm just kidding. Would you ever date someone who did this? Like, if everything was perfect on them, would you do it?
No, that's like saying, people say big red flag is how someone treats a waiter or a waitress.
We're adding how you stand up on a flight when the seatbelt sign goes off, how quickly.
Yes.
I sit until my time's ready. I'm not jumping up. Well, and more important news, because we had a little bit of heavier topics to unpack in the beginning. Did you finally schedule your mammogram yet?
No.
Girl.
I'll do it Monday.
I got to stay on top of you about stuff like that. You know how much that worries me.
I know, but I had other doctor's appointments that I did check off the list, so I'm good.
She won't schedule her mammogram, but she got her first Brazilian wax. I'm like, she's more concerned about that pussy being bald as Mr. Worldwide Pitbull himself, and I'm over here panicking about her health and getting her mammogram. Are you kidding me?
I went to the dermatologist. That's a good thing. I haven't been there. She said I was there in 2023.
You haven't been to the dermatologist in that long, Mom?
Oh, I thought that was pretty good.
You have to go every year. 2023?
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's not bad. I thought it was longer.
No, that's not good. So, okay. Well, I'm glad that you went to the dermatologist.
Yeah.
Schedule the mammogram. But the people, even though they care about your health, I think they're going to be more interested about how you just got your puss waxed for the first time. From the front to back. Butthole and all.
Oh.
My mom got her first Brazilian wax. It only took 50 years, but she finally got it.
It was different.
Girl, I know you called me as soon as you were done. So,
I mean, my whole body was shaking. My hands were so wet. You know, when your hands are wet, they were like wet. That my fingers, when you're wet and it prunes, like your fingers prune when you're in the water too long and stuff.
Yeah, that's what it was happening.
My fingers were pruned from being like holding them literally like this. I was like this.
So, okay, you said also that you got up from the paper and it was soaked.
The paper was soaked. It was like falling apart. It was just coming apart. It was all stuck to my back.
Toilet paper. So tell us, first of all, Jordy wants to know why you got it. I told him because you don't feel like doing it yourself anymore.
I don't. I just didn't feel like doing it myself anymore. The older you get, it's a little hard to maneuver yourself to make sure you get everything. And then you're out and you're like, oh my gosh, you can see the stragglers that you missed. A lot of my girlfriends were talking about it. And I just was like, all right, I'm in.
Barb said, put the pussy first. Okay, so let's talk us through. So
it hurt.
You get there.
But it hurt at the moment. And then after I was fine.
How's your cuckoo today?
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go there.
I go there. It's just it's a little room. Mm-hmm. The woman was very sweet, very nice. She said how she loves her job. She's very good at it and everything. And I said, that's great. Everybody has something they're good at. And I said, you're kind of,
You're just stripping pussy hairs off.
and I'm like, well, I mean, she does more than that too.
I
She
know,
does
I
all
know, I
waxing.
know.
But I was like, she's kind of like a gynecologist. You know what I mean? Like after you see so many, like who cares? You know what I mean? This is her job. She just does it. So we small chat it, small talked.
So you walk in there, you go, it's a little tiny room. Are you propping your legs up? Like is the mood like, is it dark? Is it
No,
the
it's
mood?
bright. There's no candlelit.
Nothing. There's no like spa music on.
No.
Nothing.
No.
Is it like it's like fluorescent lighting?
Yeah, it had some bright. I
Ugh.
mean, you have to though.
Fluorescent lighting?
You have to.
No, see, I feel like it should be like a facial setting. Like it's dark, but then they have
No,
the big bright light that they can put up
girl.
in your
No.
hoo-ha, and then they can see everything there.
No.
Who
She's
wants
just
to be under
she's above
lighting?
you. She's above you. So you don't want like her being her face wasn't all in my cooch. She's
So you're like
applying.
this,
No.
and you're just like, yeah, so at lunch I had a turkey club like that, or no?
Yeah, you're just holding your legs.
You're holding them back?
You're open like a butterfly. You're like this. You know?
So you're laying on your back, shirts on,
Oh yeah, just waist down is off.
socks?
I'd flip flops.
Okay. So nothing on the bottom. Her face is up in your cooch.
No face in the cooch. She's just standing. The table's pretty high.
Got it. So she's over you.
Yeah. And she's just applying, and then she's putting wax, and she's doing it, and then she's peeling. Cursed a couple.
Did you?
Hell yeah. Very vulnerable. Very, very.
So question is, would you do it again?
Yes, because I know what I'm in for now. And I know that in the moment it's very painful. Just certain areas. And that's when you curse. And then after that, like it's fine.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we're giving an A+ for the puss right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's shiny and brand new.
Right? I could put on a bathing suit and feel good.
Rare.
No stubble, no nothing. No lingerers, no stubbles.
I wonder if no stubbles is good etiquette for pursuing men for your puss. We'll have to. Maybe we'll leave that one off the table for Alexia today, right?
Yeah.
So Alexia is friend of the podcast, therapist. I mean, she should add comedian onto her title and resume because she's fucking hilarious. And we love her. She's just so funny.
So funny.
We're going to set up some scenarios for her and see, her take. She's been married for a long time. She works with a lot of couples and clients that are out there looking for love. So we're like, hey, let's run these scenarios by her to see if at first we're going to see what Barb thinks, and then we're going to get the real truth and see what Alexia thinks you should be doing. So I'm excited to go through that and play that with her. I think it's time we should bring on Alexia. What do you think?
Let's bring her on.
Let's welcome Alexia to the podcast.
Hello.
Oh my God. Hi. I'm so happy that you're doing this again with us. We were like, we love you. So I was like, we want you back any way we can. I was like, we switched it up this season though. We got like little matching onesies.
I like that. I'm like, where's mine?
Listen, that's my goal, is that we get to a point where we can fund our own onesies and send them off to our guests like a care package. We're like, thanks for coming on. Here's your Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom podcast onesie.
100%. That's so cute.
Well, I thought what better way to have you back on than today, because I know I was telling you a little bit about
big
this.
things are happening.
That's what I heard. So I can't wait to get it.
Barb.
I mean, big things are happening. Paul thinks so. We'll see.
Barb is back out on the dating scene. Okay, Alexia. So we're following her dating journey this season on the Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom podcast about, just getting back out there. I know, Alexia, you don't hold back. And I was like, that's why you're our type of girl. So I thought it would be great to go through this little scenario. I want to ask my mom, we need to talk about what etiquette looks like, right? Dating has drastically changed from apps to dating lingo. But the real question is etiquette always like consistent through and through. You know, is etiquette timeless? So I want to throw a couple scenarios out there, and I would love to hear what the two of you think. Like, is this something that's just like an absolute hell no, or is it something that most people would be able to give a pass to? So Barb, you'll go first to hear,
Of course.
to give us your point. And then Alexia, I need to hear what you say. Please feel free, Alexia, to disagree with my mom and enlighten her today, because that is why ultimately you were on.
This is like an intervention, Barb.
Yeah.
What's new? What's new?
I know. I was like, I really set my mom up like this in terms of like an intervention style, but she goes along with it. So we got to love her for that, right?
I'm gonna call you out, and guess what? Some other people might enjoy the me calling you because you might learn something today.
So true. So true.
I mean, listen, how would you be like a child of a, you know, loving your parent if you didn't want to help them push them out of their
You just
comfort
want the
zone, right?
best for you.
I know. I know.
I know, but sometimes I'm like, okay, like to me, I'm like, bitch, you got to chill because I'm doing a little too much. Okay, so first up,
Same.
splitting the bill after. Okay, so hear me out.
Mhm.
Imagine this is you, but I'm going to speak in first person. So it really feels like it's our own lived experience. Okay. So my date was adamant on taking me to a 5-star restaurant. They paid the bill, but then they hit me with a Venmo request for the portion of that meal. Is sending a Venmo after a date a red flag or fair game? So, Mom, I need you to go first, and then I know Alexia.
And I'm trying not to give it away. From
I know.
You got that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go without even Alexia's reaction. I'm gonna go with my reaction. No, absolutely. Yes, that is a red flag.
Why do you think it's a red flag?
Because if you wanted to split the bill or do it that way, just do it there in the moment. And those ground rules are set then, versus being like, oh, I'm going to be the bigger person, take the bill, be all good, and then hit me up later. Then you also question, was it not a good date? Was it a good date? Is this like the norm? I don't know, right?
Barb, I'm going to interrupt you because I got to get up in here. Now, first of all,
Okay.
it's not, you shouldn't be questioning if it's a good date if he asked you for the bill. If he asked you for the bill, for you, it wasn't a good date.
Okay.
Let's say if he's suggesting the place, going outside of his means is not being authentic. So that's a problem right there. And if he needed for you to split the bill, he should tell you before so you have the right to say no. So I like that red flag. If I had crimson or purple, that's who I would be waving right here. Yeah.
All right. Now, see, that was a whole different perspective that I didn't even.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I think it's important to like realize like what's your, how much you value yourself. And splitting a bill doesn't mean that you don't value yourself, but it means that if you let somebody slip some surprises up in there,
yeah,
then you have to hold your boundaries as well too, and say, it was a treat to take me out.
Do I pay it? If you send me a Venmo request, should I send the money? That's a follow-up question.
That's when you pretend you didn't see it. Because he's already blocked, and we'll teach you how to do that in the next session.
well, because I'm like, you already know it. First of all, that is such a turn off to me to do that, because it's like, if you're going to stand on business and say, oh, I'm going to wine and dine you, I'm going to take you to these restaurants, and then afterwards, you're going to like, it's given fraud behavior to me. Like 100%. You can't back the bill up.
That's one thing that I've always say, like, all flash, no cash, because when you're dating somebody, or if somebody's asking, be authentic. If you only have Chick-fil-A money, take me to Chick-fil-A. Right? Don't try to take me on Palm Beach if you can't afford Palm Beach, because I am not splitting that bill.
What if the ground rule was set already? Or how do you know to split the bill?
So if somebody wants to split the bill with you, then they should tell you ahead of time, let's go. Or do you want to go Dutch? Isn't that the word that they used to use back in the day? You want to go Dutch or something like that, you know? See, I'm in between the other generation and my generation.
I was going to say, you got it. But you still got it. You're up in the know. That's why.
So if they need to give you that option.
Okay.
Ahead of time.
Well, because I said, Barb, we I love my mom. She's a very like flexible person, and she's easygoing, and you know, we need to brace her for the challenges or the situations that
It's
might come,
different.
because my mom, you know, is a good person, and she might say, oh, well, you know, maybe he's not as you know, well off as he's pretended. I don't want him to struggle. And it's like, girl, if he told you he's doing that, you're not paying that damn bill.
100%. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. So
Okay.
one of the big things too is, you know, as somebody's trying to show you who they are, you got to take note. So it's not just hearing the things that they say, but seeing what they do. And if you're setting a culture for your whole relationship. So if you start off now with him tricking you into paying half the bill, then he will trick you into paying his rent because you don't have mortgage. Right? So it's all about that. Set the standard. Do better this time than you did last time. That's all.
100%. 100%.
All right. I love that. All right. I love that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, well, now this one's taken a turn. We went from Venmo request to, this is the shortest first date ever. Okay. So a woman went viral for this story, and it's true. So this is I'm going to speak in first person. My date showed up, took one look at me outside the restaurant, told me I wasn't what they expected, made a quick excuse, and dip before they even walked inside. Do you prefer them not wanting to waste your time, or is this just like next level disrespect? Mom, because I know Alexia always is ready. I'm like,
I mean, bye.
But is that fair? Like, do you feel like it's fair to be straight up like that, or would you take it as disrespectful?
I think it's fair to be straight up. Don't waste my time. I'm not going to waste your time.
Okay, Alexia, how do you feel about that?
So I'm going to take this to a whole nother level.
Please
because
do.
What ends up happening a lot of times, this is what I hear from all my friends. Oh my gosh, this girl, she must have took a picture like
10 years ago.
and 10 years ago. And the same things with guys. They're showing like their high school picture from 1976, and they show up, they look nothing. So do you know, I think honestly, it's respectful. If that's a circumstance to say, maybe not what I expected. And also to be safe, I tell I love him, one of my favorite friends, but he is a perpetual, like he loves online dating. And he always has, I was like, don't take him to dinner, take him for coffee or for lunch, because then you have an escape plan. I said, if it's good, then you can maybe it rolls into dinner.
Then take it to the next level of date. Yeah.
If it's, but so it goes both ways, that you could say, okay, well, that was rude. But if you were dishonest about the way that you looked ahead of time, do you want somebody to be honest back, or you want them to just kind of eat it and then ghost you later? I'd rather you tell me.
I'd rather you tell me up front. Yeah.
See, my thing is, I'm like, my mom's sensitive. I'm sensitive. If someone takes a look at me and they're not feeling it for my I mean, I know I got a sty right now, but other than that, on a good day, I think I'm cute, and I think my mom's cute. So I'm like, I would take it personal that someone did me a little up and down and was like, I'm out. Like that
obviously, then they don't have good taste.
Okay.
So do you really want to be with somebody that has that bad taste?
You're right. So
perception is everything.
Reframing your mind. Okay.
They might have just really looked at you and says, "Ooh, this looks like an expensive date. I really got to act like
that." Yeah. I gotta go back to Chick-fil-A in the drive-thru. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, this one I think is really timely and interesting, especially the difference of like I said, mom dating in the 80s, 70s, yeah. Curbside pickup date. Okay, so hear me out. I'm getting ready for my first date. My date is picking me up. Instead of ringing the doorbell or coming to the door, my date texts me, I'm here. Is it right to DoorDash delivery on the first date vibes, or what is it? Like, are we here for the what's going on text, or I'm ready, or is it like, do you prefer still in 2025 a formal coming to the door and saying I'm here? Mom, what do you think?
All right, this has a lot of different things for me. I would be too scared to have someone for a date to come pick me up at my door.
Okay, that's she watches a lot of crime docs, so okay, I'll give it.
So there's that aspect of it. Secondly, no, you're not texting me, I'm here. Like, if you want to be polite and show me a good side of you and respect and just classy, you're going to come to the door and walk me to the car.
I mean, I was going to say,
and then you're going to open the car door for me.
Oh shit, she took it to a whole nother level. I was gonna say, this is the mom that did make me go to every kid that I was friends with and introduced herself to the parents. So I was like, there's no way she's gonna let the man just say I'm here and that's fine. So
Nope. Every kid's house he ever went to, I was like, I know it's embarrassing. And I didn't have a lot of rules and stuff for them. But one thing was always, I just have to eye the parents and just do a little gaze into the house. Yes.
yeah, she's got to do a little background and see, okay, everything looks a little polished. Yeah. No newspaper on the ground. Alexia, what do you feel about Barb's take on that?
I like your take, because for everybody it's very different. I am a lot like you in some ways, Barb, because I think that if I'm developing a culture for this, if you want to take me out, come and pick me up at my door. If it is like, let's say if we're say I'm before the time of like online dating, I never did that, but I've done it for my friends. So, but if I probably was the one who swiped right.
Yeah, that's
right.
I love playing that. That's my favorite kind of game. I'm like, give me your phone, let me play.
Let's go on. So I think that it's really good that you say, you know what, in this date, if it's a first date, maybe it's a blind date, meet them out someplace, and that way you have your escape plan, right? If you get to a point where you say, you know what, I feel comfortable with him picking me up,
right?
Absolutely, he should come to the door. Absolutely, he should walk you to the car and even open the door. People are at their best in the beginning, so show me your best. If your best is honking your horn and saying, come on.
I know.
Wrong house.
Wrong house. Keep going.
The date's next door somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm not gonna get him here. And again, like I said, I'm like weird about, I don't want someone come to my house until it's many dates in first.
I think that's good. And if that's the way you feel, then that's fine. Create your version of how he can be a gentleman for you, how he can show you that he cares, speak in your love language as it starts going forward. And, listen, I know you love your son. He's got to get along with him too.
Yes.
Be approved.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing that's something that we're learning while we're doing this. And I'm like, damn, I don't know if I'm ready to take back seat. Like I'm the passenger, bitch. I don't know if I can.
He's got to go in the kid seat in the child seat.
Yeah.
You go through your practice dates, and when you start practice dating, I do not want you to think of anyone as your end all. I want for you, when you go and you interview for a job, just because somebody called you back, does that mean that you're going to accept the job? Right? Mm-hmm. You want to figure out certain things about the job to see if it's compatible with you. And with practice dating, it's the same. It is okay until you lock in. I know that this may be controversial to some people, but just because you swiped right does not mean that you're in a relationship. Just because they like you and they actually, took you to a place better than Chick-fil-A doesn't mean that you're locked in. It means that you can still, take your time and figure out what it is that you love about, what you like about him, and if they're even worthy to bring to your sons.
100%. I agree with you.
And I think that that's one of the biggest errors that a lot of people do. They like start dating. It's almost like they want a replacement for the last one. So whatever was wrong with their last relationship, maybe that person was cheap. If they meet somebody and they seem like they're spending, you are not even looking to see that this person has bad credit, right? Or they stole money out of your purse in order to pay the bill. You know, and that's in a lot of different sections. So if they were like aggressive and now somebody's something, you still maybe want somebody that you want to protect, or just not the way that your ex was.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like your alerts are going off for the things that you've endured, but you're being oblivious to the other things because you're so locked in on this one thing that you didn't get from the previous relationship. Yeah,
100%. So you have to know your value, know yourself, and start really looking at the things that you want. You have to be able to identify certain things that are important for you, and know that as you're meeting people, does this person align with those factors? Or are we dating potential rather than dating the actual person?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This is why we bring you on, Alexia. See, because you're speaking the good speak.
Totally.
It's easy it's easy to sidetrack yourself, because I think that especially you meet somebody, he's attractive, you haven't been out there, he's telling you things or doing things that you haven't had done in a long time. Of course, you're going to get swept off your feet. Right? But it's looking in at the top 5 things that are so important to you. And if those top 5 things are there, go on with it. But if there's certain things that are in your top 5 characteristics that aren't there, tell them to go. There's somebody else, a bunch of other people that will buy you the Palm Beach dinner.
So question, as like my age group,
Mhm.
I'm assuming most guys at my age group are going to pay for the bill.
Don't.
Okay.
I will tell you this is that you have been in a time warp. Sometimes I think that, you know, it doesn't even matter about the age, but sometimes what you would expect from like a gentleman that is in, you know, they're not 20,
Yeah.
they're worse. And I'm not saying all of them, but again, people know who to do certain things to. So if you accept it once, they're going to figure you can accept it again. You know, you have to set a standard and exude what you want out of a relationship. You know, exude the fact that you're not in here for bullshit. You're
Okay.
not, you know, you're not trying to get attached right away, but let people know as you're going along, not on the first date. If you're not just looking for a hookup. You know, it's things that it's okay. I don't think that anybody should disclose that on the first date, but if you've gone in on a couple dates, it's okay to be honest about what you're looking for before feelings really start to fly. Because if the person that you're dating is just looking for something casual and you're looking for something that has longevity, it has legs, then it's not a match.
Mm-hmm.
Not at this time.
Yeah.
So we have to be honest with ourselves, looking at, you know, how things are going along, not just again what they're telling us, but how they're treating us and what we see.
I just laugh because every time we have a guest on or we talk about men over like 40, I would say more 50 to 60, every woman just goes in and says how shit they are.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you.
That's what I mean. Like for me, so even if we did coffee, like we're going to, so, you know, date, we go, we meet up at a coffee place, we go, we order. Do I wait for him to pay for it? Do I just pay for mine? He pays for it. Like, I'm not sure of those dynamics of how to do that. Like, I don't want to assume. Do you know what I mean? So how do you approach that? Because I feel like that's like a big thing of going on a date. Who pays?
Well, you know
How do you wait for the
he
check?
asks you to go for coffee, then, you know, we could assume that he's going to pay.
Okay.
However, he might not be. He might be in a friend zone. Especially if you're not interested, it's okay to pull out and ask. A gentleman is going to decline.
Agreed.
You know, but I think that it's perfectly okay to, especially if it's like coffee or something like that.
Okay.
And you're friend zoning him.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you're asking to split half at the end of it, I'm thinking we're parting ways here as friends, and we're gonna keep it cute and keep it moving.
Yeah,
because you're gonna already know, even like unfortunately, like first sight or whatever. Yeah.
And even if you were interested and he asked you to split a coffee bill, that was the last date, Barb.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's it.
Oh, he showed his teeth. That's enough. Girlfriend, call me anytime. I got you. If I was up there, I'd be taking you. I'm telling you, taking out.
You'd be a good wing woman. I would feel confident being next to you.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Alexia, we love you here.
I know.
You always make me laugh so much. I think you are so entertaining, and I love hearing your point of view. For the people, if this is your first time hearing Alexia, please, Alexia, let the people know where they can check you out. I know you got websites, social media. Let the people know.
So
you can hit me up on every social media platform. You can on Instagram. I'm Alexia Alexia.McLeod, which is not spelled like McLeod. That's McLeod. Blame my husband. But check me out on there. You can email, call 561-835-5787. I cannot wait to see you and help you on your next date.
Yeah,
I love that.
I love that too.
It was great seeing you again.
Oh, and so much fun. I love what you guys are doing. And honestly,
thank you.
Think about it, because even the dynamic with the parent and son, you know, people, they would pray for that kind of closeness, to have that and be able to speak so openly. So Mom, you did a whole lot right.
Thank you.
Right? Honestly, you did a whole lot right. So
Thank you.
You've been watching that, and you guys are funny as hell. I love watching.
Oh, thank you. I love you. Thanks for saying that.
This is like our normal conversations. That's
I
why it's
believe
like
that.
so funny. Like we'll literally walk around the house with, you know, FaceTime on,
yeah.
just-
Well, that's why I was like, we just need to start putting it out there. You know, I've said to my mom, you know, and you probably feel this way too. It's like, sometimes the hardest conversations are the ones that register the most with people. And it's so hard to, like, you know, as you keep doing this, sometimes you want to be like an edited, filtered version of yourself. But then you get so into it that you start forgetting that you're even, like, people are listening. You're just genuinely showing up and having those organic conversations. So it's been like a journey. It's learning and it's exploring, and it's been fun to do it. So I appreciate you for saying that, though. That means a lot.
Yeah, definitely a journey.
Thank you again. Let
Thank
me
you.
know when we're in the final stages of this whole date, and maybe even the aftermath of the date, so we can process some.
Oh,
Yes.
we need
Oh,
that's what we'll need to do.
Stories.
We'll bring you back
Those are the
on for
stories
that.
you live off of forever, because I have my in between marriage and dating, marriage and marriage, I should say, my dating in between. I call it my time warp stories. Girl.
Alexia, we love you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming on.
Thank
and
you.
All right, guys.
We'll talk to you soon.
Please. All right, then. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye. I'm literally, I could keep just giving her scenario after scenario and just listen to her take on it, and that's entertaining to me.
Just talk in general. Yeah, like she's just a good person to talk with and get
She's
feedback.
like a friend.
I
She's
know.
like a friend. Jordy's like, I never
Keeps it
heard you
real.
laugh. Jordy's like, I never heard you laugh like that on the podcast. I was like, because she really was cracking me up.
She keeps it real. Like she talks real. Yeah,
She does. I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as we did.
totally. And I think I did pretty damn good.
You did. I liked your responses on it. I was proud of you. I'm not too worried to send you out there. I feel like you're getting your grasp on everything.
Say.
So I want to tie up this week before we part ways to say that I'm sorry I hurt you and feel like
You didn't hurt me.
and I feel like how you feel is completely valid.
Thank you.
And I would never do anything to hurt you. And I hope you can see my side on everything.
Absolutely.
We know you'll never date a man that stands up as soon as the plane lands, and someone who takes your family photo.
Exactly. No
And
to the no. I'm not going to be no Lifetime Netflix documentary.
and your pussy is squeaky clean. Goodbye, everyone. See you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We will see you next week with a brand new episode. Thanks for listening. We love you all, and take it away, Mom.
I'm hanging up now. Bye.
Call you later. Love
Call
you.
you later. Love you.